Hello and a very warm welcome to Money9 special daily market and corporate dose, Corporate Central, where we get you the everyday pulse of the corporate world. Starting from all the big headlines to tracking details of every ups and downs of shares, will be put right in front of you over to what took place in today's corporate world. Hinduja Group entity Indiamart International Holdings emerged as the sole bidder for Reliance Capital at an auction held by the creditors. The group offered 9,510 crore rupees in the first round, which was raised to 9,650 crore rupees in the second round. According to a report in the Economic Times, as there were no counter offers, the auction process had ended. Hinduja's offer was 1,000 crore rupees more than what Torrent Investments had offered in the first round in December. Meanwhile, Torrent Investments and Oaktree Capital, who had earlier indicated that they would participate in the process, did not submit any bids. As per reports, Torrent participated in the mock auction drill and the pre-auction discussions but did not submit a bid. The threshold for participation in the auction was kept at 9,500 crore rupees with 8,000 crore rupees as upfront cash. Lenders had conveyed to the contenders that they would negotiate an improved offer only with the highest bidder, which in this case was the Hinduja Group. In the first auction held in December, Torrent Investments made the highest offer of 8,640 crore rupees, followed by Hinduja Group at 8,110 crore rupees. Within 24 hours of that auction, Hinduja offered a revised bid of 9,000 crore rupees, which was then challenged by Torrent before the National Company Law Tribunal. Gautam Adani's older brother, Vinod, stepped down as the director of three companies, Carmichael Rail and Port Singapore, Carmichael Rail Singapore and Abbott Point Terminal Expansion, connected to the family's coal mines in Australia in late February as pressure mounted on the Adani Group. According to Bloomberg, the resignation happened just days before the Supreme Court ordered a committee to probe if regulators had failed to oversee Adani Group. Meanwhile, SEBI is examining whether some transactions between the group and Vinod Adani were properly disclosed. Hindenburg's January 24th report said dozens of shell companies controlled by Vinod had moved billions of dollars in and out of the Adani Group of companies, seemingly to embellish shares and results. The Adani Group acknowledged that Vinod is part of the promoter group and said that it made all required disclosures. Until recently, few had heard about Gautam Adani's 74-year-old brother. He is believed to have made a fortune trading commodities and is worth at least $1.2 billion and also runs a family investment office in Dubai. NSE indices on Wednesday changed the methodology for handling schemes of a demerger involving index constituents. The index provider said a company undergoing demerger would now be retained in its indices. The move comes ahead of the proposed demerger of Reliance Industries' financial services arm. Under the rules prevailing so far, RIL, which has the highest weighting among the 50 Nifty components, would have been required to be removed from the index, resulting in a churn by funds tracking the Nifty index. NSE said that the change in the methodology of Nifty equity indices for the treatment of mergers was in line with global practices and followed feedback received from market participants. RIL has already initiated the demerger process and the scheme is set to be put to vote before the shareholders and the creditors on May 2nd. Jio Financial Services is expected to list separately on the bourses by September 2023. The promoters of Vedanta Limited have trimmed their stake in the mining and resources company by over 1.5% in the latter half of March, publicly available shareholding data shows. Vedanta Netherlands Investment, a promoter group company, has reduced its stake in Vedanta Limited from 1.71% as of December 31st, 2022 to 0.13% as of March 31st, the data shows. The sold shares are worth over 1,600 crore rupees as per the latest stock price, and the entity that trimmed its stake had encumbered its entire shareholding to Vedanta, and the encumbrance was released on March 10th, following which the stake sale is likely to have happened. Vedanta Netherlands Investment BV, a promoter group of company, has reduced its stake in Vedanta Limited from 1.71% as of December 31st, 2022 to 0.13% as of March 31st. Also, the sold shares of the latest are worth over 1,600 crore rupees as per the latest stock price. Meanwhile, the government is likely to oppose a plan by Hindustan Zinc to buy out Vedanta's global zinc assets unless the valuation of the assets is brought down to more realistic levels. This was reported by the Economic Times. The Hindustan Zinc had proposed to buy Vedanta's global zinc assets in a cash deal worth $2.98 billion, which the government had opposed. The government in February opposed Vedanta's proposal to sell its international zinc business to Hindustan Zinc for $2.98 billion over concerns of valuation. The government had threatened to take legal action to stop the sale of Africa-based assets to HCL. Currently, the government of India owns 29.54% stake in Hindustan Zinc and 64.92% is owned by Vedanta Limited. Godrej Consumer Products is reportedly in talks for a deal with Raymond for its male grooming brand Park Avenue and Kama Sutra condoms. The potential deal will give Godrej Consumer a larger play in the men's personal care and sexual wellness categories. The Singhania family-backed Raymond has been looking to divest its consumer care business for over 2 years, as per a report by the Economic Times. Godrej Consumer Products had in past acquired hair care brand Blunt, but if the deal goes through, it will be its first large deal with an Indian brand. Last year, direct-to-consumer firm Good Glam Group called off talks to acquire Raymond's consumer care business, citing expensive valuations. With sales of 522 crores in FY22, Raymond is one of the top 5 players in the men's deodorants category, third largest in branded condom segment, but is a fringe player in mainstream soaps and shampoo market. The development comes at a time when Godrej Consumer Products, which has a portfolio of personal and home care products including Synthol men's grooming, easy liquid detergent and household insecticide brands like Hit and Goodnight, is witnessing steady recovery in consumer demand in the year. Shirpur Gold Refinery approached the Bombay High Court on Wednesday following an interim order cum show cause notice by SEBI the previous day, alleging that the company had created a scheme to divert funds from debtors to entities of promoter groups. The High Court did not grant any relief, and the company will now file an appeal before the Securities Appellate Tribunal. SEBI in its order said that Shirpur had created an elaborate scheme to defraud investors and financial institutions on the pretext of purchases and sales from connected entities and or through undisclosed fund transfers during financial year 19, 20 and 21. Assets worth 404 crore rupees were diverted through its debtors, which ultimately reached the promoter and promoter-related companies. The non-genuine transactions with the debtors were depicted as genuine business by Shirpur in its financial statements, the SEBI order has said. The company and its directors tried to mislead the investigation and the audit by failing to cooperate in providing information sought by SEBI and the forensic auditor. Shirpur has been taken into the NCLT under IBC by its financial lenders, and the scrip of the company is currently suspended for trading. American Tower Corp is now open to selling a majority stake in its wholly owned Indian unit, or even offering up to 100% ownership and exiting the country after its recent efforts to sell only a 50% stake failed to find any takers. The US tower company is learned to have re-engaged with Canada's Brookfield, which is evaluating a full buyout. It has also tapped US infra fund Stonepeak for $4 billion valuation, while potential buyers differ on price. ATC India portfolio includes 76,826 towers as of December 2022. In another order related to Coffee Day, the National Financial Reporting Authority has barred the auditor of Mysore Amalgamated Coffee Estates for a period of 10 years and also imposed a fine of 10 lakh rupees for professional misconduct and several lapses in 2019 and 2020. MACEL is an entity owned and controlled by the promoters of Coffee Day Enterprises, which runs Cafe Coffee Day. The accounting regulator said that the first 5 years out of the 10-year order would run concurrently with the period of debarment pronounced in its earlier order. NFRA's investigations revealed that MACEL's order for the financial year 2019-20 failed to meet the relevant requirements of the standards of auditing in several significant aspects and demonstrated a serious lack of competence. Well, so that was all about corporates in today's show. Now take a look at those market stocks which are in action today and also understand the reason behind it. On April 27, the stock of L&T Technology Services has seen a jump of more than 8%. In the fourth quarter of the financial year 2022-23, the company's profit increased by 18% to 309.6 crore rupees. During this period, the company's income has increased by 19% to 2,096.2 crore rupees, while operating profit has remained stable at 18.7%. As far as financial year 2024 is concerned, the management has set a target of more than 20% income growth. In FY23, the company hired 1,400 people, which now stands at 22,233. The company plans to hire at least 2,000 people more in FY24. Banking regulator RBI has given green signal to reappointment of N. Kamakodi, MD and CEO of Tamil Nadu-based City Union Bank for 3 years. N. Kamakodi's tenure ends on 30th April 2023, and on April 27th, the news of his reappointment saw a jump of up to 10% in the stock of City Union Bank. According to the brokerage firm ICICI Securities, the approval for reappointment of MD and CEO for 3 years is a positive development for the bank, especially when RBI has recently reappointed MD and CEO of a large private bank for 2 years instead of 3 years. The stock has underperformed the market in the last 6 months and has fallen by about 26%, while the Nifty 50 index has risen by about 0.5% and the banking index Bank Nifty by nearly 4.25% up. And after releasing the fourth quarter results on April 27th, HDFC Life Insurance stock has seen a decline of up to 3%. In fact, despite good growth in net premium and value of new business, HDFC Life's profit in the fourth quarter has been flat. Year-on-year profit of the company has increased by only 0.3% from 357.5 crore rupees to 358.6 crore rupees. The company's net premium during the quarter grew 35.9% from 14,290 crore rupees to 19,427 crore rupees, whereas VNB grew by 367.8%. VNB stood at 1,511 crore rupees year-on-year as compared to 900 crore rupees, but VNB margins have been flat, 27.6%. Brokers' views are mixed after the results. Morgan Stanley has given overweight rating on the stock and raised the target to 700 rupees. Similarly, Jefferies suggests buying the stock with a target of 670 rupees. But CLSA has given underperformed rating and raised target to 560 rupees. According to CLSA, FY24 will be challenging for the company as many people have taken tax benefits in quarter 4 by pre-buying, which will not continue in the coming quarters. Similarly, Motilal Oswal has maintained a neutral rating on the stock and has given a target of 610 rupees. Telecom company Vodafone Idea stock saw an intraday jump of up to 8% on April 27, and the reason behind this jump is related to UK's parent company Vodafone Group PLC. Emirates Telecommunications Group has increased its stake in Vodafone. Earlier, this stake was at 14%, which has now been increased to 14.6%. Emirates Telecom has regulatory approval to increase stake to 15% as of December 2022. Promoters of the Indian company Vodafone Idea hold about 75%, of which Vodafone PLC holds 48% and Aditya Birla Group holds 27%. That's all on Corporate Central today, but before we take your leave, over to some important corporate events and triggers which may impact the market. Let's take a look. On 28th April, results to look out for include Ultratech Cement, SBI Cards and Payment Services, Star Health and Allied Insurance Company, Mahindra & Mahindra Financial Services, L&T Finance Holdings, Indiamart Intermesh. Talking about Indiamart Intermesh, it's all set to consider a proposal of a bonus issue of equity shares to investors on April 28th. Apart from the bonus issue, the company will also announce its fourth quarter results on April 28th and also consider paying a dividend if recommended by the board. Starting April 28th, SpiceJet, Best Agro Life, Hindustan Foods, Lancer Containers will not be trading on the NSE. Instead, will only be trading on the BSE. And talking about some global triggers, America's Q1 GDP figures to be released on April 27th after market closing. On April 28th, Asia Pacific markets were largely higher on Thursday as investors focused on the Bank of Japan's first policy meeting led by its new governor Kazuo Ueda. Also, Europe's Q1 GDP figures will also be released. Well, we hope that you liked this episode of Corporate Central and got your day's highlights from the corporate world. We'll be back with more new updates tomorrow. Until then, stay tuned to Money9.